guys, it's Michael.
And this is Patrick, and you're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views podcast. Today we'll be talking a bit about the story that's been going around about Daisy Ridley leaving Star Wars. It's been, reported in a lot of places. BBC News had it, and it kind of, made its rounds around the internet, and she ended up going on to clarify. But originally what she had said was that she was going to leave Star Wars after Episode 9. Right?
Yeah.
And she was like, leaving Star Wars. A lot of people were saying, oh, she quits, yada, yada, yada. But she wasn't quitting. She was saying that, she's done after that.
Yeah.
And she was glad that she'd be done. Because she was kind of she didn't know how the fans would kind of react to having this new person in the movie. And she's saying, her reaction to the fans, or her fans' reactions were a little bit overwhelming for her. So she'll be glad when she's kind of out of the spotlight of it.
Yeah, I think she said something to the effect of, she didn't really fully comprehend what she was signing up for, and it's kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure she did, kind of, but it's one thing to see it from, our perspective from the outside. It's another one to live it, where one day you're absolutely nobody, and then the next day you have to have, bodyguards following you around.
But, so to go back to it, there's all these speculations going about, whether or not she's quitting, or, or she, is her character going to live in Episode 9, yada, yada. But I think it's kind of I first of all, I don't understand why everybody thought that she would be in more Star Wars movies.
I know,
as of
the story's done, right?
Yeah, as of right now, all we know is that it goes Episode 9 and then it's done. There's no, no one said
there's
anything
no
about
Episode 10.
Yeah, no one said anything about there being more Star Wars movies with her. And, as far as we know, the other thing about, Rian Johnson getting into trilogies, it doesn't focus on any of the same characters anyway. So all the next Star Wars movies that we know about are going to have her in them in the first place.
I would agree that it's kind of like a sort of overblown story. It's of course, it's 7, 8, 9, and everyone gets a trilogy. Anakin got his trilogy, Luke got his trilogy, even though there's a bit of overlap with some characters.
Yeah.
I don't think she would want to keep doing this for the rest of her life. Right now, I think she's got 4 films coming out in the next year.
Yeah, actually, I just saw her in one, too. I mean, I'm sure she wants to do other projects. Yeah, and, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe there'll be an Episode 10, which, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they did, but it might not have anything to do with Rey. Even if she's still alive or whatever, it might not have to do with it.
Yeah, I'm sure, the comics and novels will continue her story, just like they did, in the 80s and 90s with the original trilogy.
Yeah, exactly.
And games and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if, in the year... because it took... If you asked Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher in 1989 to come back and do 3 more Star Wars, they would have just been no way, no way.
Yeah,
so it took them 30 years to get to the place where they're all right, maybe I'll come back. So maybe, in 2045, maybe a 55-year-old Daisy Ridley will come back to do a cameo passing of the torch. I wouldn't be surprised if by that point she felt differently. But right now, in her mid to late 20s, at the prime of her career, and also trying not to get typecast too, I'm sure,
exactly.
Of course, she wants to do other things.
And she also ended up clarifying, saying that I didn't mean that I didn't want to be part of Star Wars. That was completely untrue. It wasn't that she didn't want anything to do with it. It was that she, as far as they know, the story is done after Episode 9, and that seems to be all of it. And she will be glad for some of it to be over because she doesn't want too much to do with the fans as much. But overall, it wasn't she was excited to just get out and leave Star Wars immediately.
Yeah, I can understand why. What's the guy that plays Captain America?
Oh, yeah, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. He's on a 9-film contract. That guy's probably so done with that role by this point.
Yeah, and he's been trying to get into some directing and stuff, too. I can understand why he doesn't want to continue doing it if we don't see him after any more, Avengers movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's a lot of work, and just to only have that one role, it's kind of well, that's it. My movie career's over. I'm just going to be this one person from now on, and that's that.
So I do think, though, that we will see, because, if the possibility of them revisiting the character in the future as a gray-haired version of that character, if the possibility exists, Disney will take that opportunity. So in other words, they will do it with or without her. By the time it's 2030, 2040, you're going to be seeing a middle-aged Rey.
And with the other Rian Johnson trilogy coming out, I don't expect to see Episode 10 for another 10 years anyways, right?
Yeah, eventually I do think they will.
Yeah,
eventually, but that's going to be a big deal when they do that. They're going to save that, and probably by then, like Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy will be gone from the company.
Yeah.
If it's 10 or 15 years, they might be retired by that point.
Right, and I think like kind of with the prequels even it took place like they did them way after the original trilogy.
Yeah.
These movies are another like 10, 15 years since the prequels had come out, so I kind of think they're gonna kind of want to take a break still, and it's kind of a special event when the next trilogy of Star Wars comes out.
Yes,
but they won't keep doing them just because they can. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, if you can only do 10, 11, 12 once, that's your one shot, and you've blown it if you've wasted it that early.
Yeah.
So it's something you might want to save for 20 years from now when you need another shot of revenue. That's when you go back to the well,
Yeah.
All right, guys, so that's just our take on this little thing. I don't know if you guys have any different thoughts on that. Feel free to leave them in the comments and let us what you think. Will she be back? I don't know. I think she will, and I think whether or not she is, they will continue her story, not only in Expanded Universe, but in films, eventually.
Yeah, eventually. I think she's just saying this because she's be happy to be done for a little bit. And we
she needs to move on.
15 years anyways,
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching.